Testing 1, 2, 3. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Let me organize myself here. Okay. Okay. Sorry, let me just organize myself here, guys. Let's see if we can. Let's see if you're going to see my screen and the sound. Let me just organize. Sorry, I want to try to push this a little more. Okay. All right, so let me do share screen, share, and okay. Are you guys seeing my screen? More, share sound. Okay, good morning, Daniel. Good morning, Ricky. Okay, we're all organized. Okay, all right. Hey guys, man, sorry, I'm just, I've been super busy with some other stuff, so I'm a little bit zoned out. Kind of a little bit of a quiet night, although as I'm speaking right now, we actually have a trade, which I'm just gonna go market into on this particular structure, because we should have been in here, I guess, on the 65s. So I came in at 67. So we'll try to go for, I'm just gonna try to go for 5 on this. Let's see if it works. It's been a very, very chop market.
Pound trend down.
With very little follow through, especially in European session. And I think it's interesting. So let me sort of show you when this happens. I'm going to do this on TradingView. It's really important to keep in mind. Let me just get rid of this for a sec. When you have sort of a very, very tight trend regime, you really don't have that much room to go for trades, right? So here's the opening at 6 o'clock hour. We have the opening sequence, and you do have some continuation from here. It's a 60. It actually extends all the way out to about a 30-point move. But then any moves over here have been very, very tepid. They've only been sort of like from the time we get a signal, 45, to max no more than 5-10 points. Excuse me, no more than 10 points to the upside. So
Nasdaq sell reversal trend is strong buy.
So it's very emblematic of just kind of a consolidative tight market. And this kind of a tight consolidative market is the worst environment for us, or it's the worst environment for us because we're betting basically on continuity. Continuity, by its very definition, means that you really need movement on trend. So you have to have trend start, and you want to have at least 20, 30, 40 points of movement, 20, 30, 40 points of continuous, from the time the trend opens to the peak of trend, you got to have 50, 60 points worth of continuous movement in order for us to make consistent money. And then if there's only like 10 or 20 points of continuous movement, we basically buy the tops and sell the bottoms. So you have to understand, what it looks like right now is a perfect example of not working.
Euro-yen trend down.
Of the trend kind of not extending higher. So we have these couple of positive trends, and now they're all just kind of deconstructing. And then the same thing happens on the downside. We'll come in down, and then it just simply stops. So this range-bound market is a very important structure to understand. If you're in this kind of a market, your trades are just not going to work, and you basically, the most intelligent thing to do is just simply step away until you start to see some kind of continuity, maybe 20, 30 points of continuity in trend before you want to consider it. Today is just one of those kind of days where one step forward, two steps backwards. So this, I mean, if this looks like this trade is just going to completely blow us out. Yeah, we're like literally right at the stop line, and that's very indicative of essentially chop market. So I just wanted to show this to you because our setup doesn't work all the time. There is a very specific use case where it doesn't work. It's really, really important to recognize it. So you want to minimize engagement with the market when you have that use case in play. And it's always, usually it happens during low volatility times and low, low range times. There's a couple of remedies to that idea, which is that you could, if you're in a low range volatility environment, you kind of just truncate your stops and your targets to maybe half size, and you're only looking for 5 points to the upside, and with a 10-point stop. But of course, the danger of that is it's just you're going to get stopped out on a downdraft. You basically have to time it perfectly when you have such small. When you give
German buy reversal trend is strong sell.
Such small continuity things. So I have a where's my German here? Where's my German? Here's my German. I have a signal on the German here, but see, moving average is very, very compressed, right? And very little price action. German actually looks better because German had some extension today, but now the moving average is kind of very compressed. And actually, so the other point I was going to say is when you have these tight range trades, usually, last couple of days have been unusual in the sense that they've been really broad range movements in European session. But the European session is the perfect example when you have tight range. In these tight range trades, the much more intelligent trade is to trade the tops and bottoms. Is to like, for example, you give yourself a couple of reference points. So here you have 2 reference points, and then you start looking for the reversal. So here's the buy signal, red buy. You'd be buying over here on this thing. It goes against you like 10 points, right? So if you're trading with a 10-20, you still have a little bit of decline, but then it just gives you the 10 points to the upside, which is what you're looking for. And it's sort of a similar kind of situation here, right? So if I'm really betting on the fact that we're in a tight range, this is it's more intelligent to buy this, because this is really, you're buying basically you want to buy underneath the moving averages and sell above the moving averages in a tight range environment, because buying top, selling bottoms in a range is much more interesting than trying to trade continuity. Continuity only performs well when you have a sustained trend, and that's the thing that I was just sort of wanted to show you. So let's buy this entry on this just to see if this is indeed a turn trade on the move. So the other thing that I wanted to show you, I'll put like a 5 in here just to see, because again, there's very little. I don't know how much upside momentum I have so far, and it's also the problem with Zoom, as I realize, is that it doesn't give you like a 15-minute. You can either do it in an hour or a half hour. So I didn't want to just start the webinar at 9:30 right into the New York Open. I kind of wanted to spend a little quiet time considering some of these ideas. So that's why this whole week we're going to start at 9. But a lot of the trades I'm going to do are are just experimental before the 9:30 hour, and then I'm really going to do real trades after the 9 hour. I'm showing a lot of examples here of some proper possibilities of how you want to trade. You want to trade the regime in low volatility regimes. So the other thing I was going to say is that is also interesting in how you can intelligently trade. This is not doing anything for me here. So it's going up. It's not even reversing. It's just chopping back and forth. And I think I have to go back to. Let me just go back to the trading view idea. And so I need to get a couple of good examples. This is really, it's just completely, it looks like the market has just died, where the trade really now is to the downside, not to the upside. It's really really not working for us. But what I was going to say is, how do you? Unfortunately, I'm trying to. Okay. Another way to sort of avoid, this choppy back and forth, and not have to, get stopped out up and stopped out down, is to give yourself more, wider swing entries. And the way you might want to make, the swing entries, and this is obviously going to be very different than every single trade, is you want to essentially, like, here's an example. You have a uptrend breakout, you have a green signal over here, so it's a buy signal over here. You could put it, what is this? This is 47, right? So 47. So the natural, let's say if you put a 20 stop on this, it'd be 27, right? But the real, the more intelligent trade is underneath all the swing lows, which is around 25. This here in this case is not much of a difference. You're basically, 5-6 points away. But the idea here is, like, let's say you get you have your negative trend, right? Your negative trend. You have a sell signal here, right? Let's say we'll take this our first sell signal. So this is a sell signal over here. How would you set up a stop? Instead of just setting a hard market stop, you could just set it against the nearest swing high, which is over here at 75, right? So I would be short here at 55, 75. In this case, they're kind of the same thing at 20 points. But in other times of the marketplace, they're not. So here's another good example where we're coming in to buy. Here's the buy point. Instead of trying to set up 5 or 10 or some kind of a fixed point stop, you could say, okay, I'm in at 49. The swing low here, where's the point where I'm clearly technically wrong, would be around here, 23. So if the price gets down here, then I'm wrong. So then you could sort of play it inverse. You could say, okay, my risk is I'm in at 49 or 50, and my stop is 20. Just to give ourselves a little time. So that's a 30. It's a 30-point risk, and this is the key thing is it's going to require you to have more risk, but it's a 30-point risk. But I'm going to go, I don't know if I do 50% of that, that means I want to go to 65, and it actually goes more than 65. It goes all the way up to 75. So you could have even done
Nasdaq sell continuation trend is weak sell.
So in this case, nothing is working. Where's my this? Okay, so the German is not working. We got stopped on the NAS because it completely turned around, and now we actually have, presumably, well, we actually have a Dow and a NAS possible setup. So here's NAS. This is a buy candle, which this is the Dow 30. This is a trade that we missed. So here's a buy candle. This we would have been short here, and then you had a move here for about 10 points to the downside. Now Nasdaq has a sell candle covered by a buy candle, and now if this candle stays negative, that will give us a sell entry, right? That will give us a legitimate sell entry that we can go into. So let me just move this over in a second. Okay, so I'm going to trade this with you guys off my futures, off my TradingView because I find TradingView like a little bit easier for me to trade on this stuff now. And also it's easier. So I have 11, 10 seconds. It's clearly going to be a negative thing. I'm going to actually see if I can just offer it out. Okay, so I'm in, and now I have to, oh, this is, I don't have enough space here. Okay, sorry. I have to modify this. So I'm going to just do standard 10, 20 stop on this. And we'll see if I can, so, okay, so the other thing is, what was the closing price on this candle? It was 36. I'm actually at a better price, so that's fine. If I'm at a worse price than a closing candle, I will adjust my numbers so they work better. But anyways, oh, did I not short? Okay, let's short the, sorry, I forgot to short the NASDAQ. Okay, somebody's got their mic open. I gotta, hang on a sec. I gotta kill the mic. Who's got the mic?
Dollar yen trend up.
Who's got the mic open? Everybody's got their, okay. All right, everybody's muted. That's fine. Okay, so I'm short here for, for us. I think I'm going to trade with just a 5 target because this is CFDs. I want to have a reasonable chance here. And on my that's very quiet. Okay, so super quiet. So I have, I'm looking for 5 on the CFDs. I'm at 3. Oh, it's just, this is a spread.
Aussie trend down.
The spread is not giving it to me. It's a big spread. And it's also super, look at that. Wow, so super slow. Okay, so there's a big spread. It just didn't give me a spread. I was in at 5 and it just didn't spread me out. So I'm going to try and stay a little patient with this trade because is this a legitimate trade? We're in at a pretty decent price, but and the market is struggling to develop a trend. I mean, this is the first signal and trend, and it's just it can't even, it's not even doing much continuity here. But we're going to give it a shot. We're going to stay with this trade because this is a legitimate setup with 10 minutes to go before the market open. So we'll see if that works. Super slow. Let's see, starting to break down a little bit. Am I getting it? Finally. Nope. Yeah, finally. Okay, so 5 on the CFDs, and that's finally starting to come in a little bit on my futures. I think I'm just gonna, I didn't even have a chance to close my futures. Look at that bump. All right, I will let this play. I'm gonna let this play. Where's my futures? I'm gonna come in. All right, you know what? I'm just gonna take my futures here. Okay, so I'm done out of my futures. I could
Kiwi trend down.
Full 20, but it just didn't work. So okay, fine. I took like 7 or 8 out of the futures. So you see, it's just been, it's like pulling teeth. But ultimately, this was a decent signal. Finally, after a couple of really badly failed signals, this was a halfway decent signal. And so what I was going to say is, how you sort of you want to plan your, and I'm only going to talk about NASDAQ right now because everything else is going to have its own rhythm. But if you think about NASDAQ, right, generally generally change of trend, right? So it's sort of our whole setup is change of trend, setup, trade, right? That's the sequence. And the key question is, how many change of trends are you going to have? Let's say during 7 o'clock in the morning, New York, till 4 o'clock, from 7 in the morning to 4 in the afternoon, New York, right? And the idea is, I think, roughly about 1 an hour. Sometimes there'll be 1 every 2 hours, and sometimes there'll be 1 every half hour. So let's say it's an averaging up 1 an hour. So that's 7 o'clock till 1600 hours. That's basically 11 hours of, or not, excuse me, 9 hours of, let's say there's possible 9 to 10 changes of trend. Not every change of trend is going to have a signal, but let's say, there's one signal in seven change of trends, and some of them are going to have 2 signals. So you presumably should have between 7 and 10 signals. And the idea here is, in a perfect world, you would love, let's say there's just 10, you're going to take 10 trades a day from 7 in the morning till the close, which, of course we're not, we're going to take more than that, but let's just say we're going to take 7, you're going to take 10 trades a day. In a perfect world, what you want to have is 8-2 win rate, right? You want to have an 80% win rate. To do that, you really kind of want to stick to the setup. But even when you're sticking to the setup, sometimes you're going to get failures. Like, for example, this setup would have actually worked. So you bought this here at 45, and you're trading 10-20. This eventually resolved 55, right? This is the second setup, so this doesn't work. So you kind of like, let's just like sort of run from 7 o'clock in the morning. What do I have? Here's a signal that is a buy 48. That doesn't stop me out. Actually, does not stop me out. I'm actually able to survive it. And it takes me all the way out to 58. So presumably this is like one signal that works. But with the problem, the hard part about kind of staying to that methodology is that you have to ignore the intra flow, because what's happening is that you're going to get negative. You're basically going to get change of trend signals within your trade, and you have to decide, am I going to respond to change of trend signals, or am I just going to ignore it as just pure noise and just take that trade? Ironically enough, I think a lot of times it's worth ignoring it as pure noise, but the problem is, we're always very, very swayed by the last tick. So if you ignored this would have been just simply a straight up trade, right? And then there's really nothing going on until this one. And actually this one hasn't even resolved yet, because if I took I took it at 37, it did not go down to the full 10 points, right? So I would have, my setup would have forced me to stay in this trade still, but I get out early, and that's the temptation of this particular setup that works really, really well when we have continuity. So if I have continuity and I have lots of continuous trades, all I'm going to do is just hit smaller trades. But if I have discontinuity, I'm going to get whipsawed by staying out of, by exiting early, and then reassessing where the trade is and getting whipsawed. So it's kind of frustrating a little bit. But be that as it may, I'm actually going to see if this thing goes negative. If this thing stays negative, I may go back into this trade, although it doesn't look like it's going to stay negative. Although today feels like more of a sell open than a buy open, I really don't want to be
Euro-yen trend up
short in front of the open right now. And it may be like, maybe one of those kind of situations I keep saying to you, where it's much better to trade the reversal signal and then the continuity signal. But I wanted to kind of lay out the good and the bad of changing your mind quickly in response to the market versus kind of ignoring the noise and staying to the full setup. And most of the time during regular market hours, this shouldn't be an issue, because every swing, every trend slice should be 30, 40 NASDAQ points. If basically where we get in trouble, and this is really kind of, I think, a good metric to state, is if the swing slice, and the swing slice is defined, let's say, from the break of the open, like, the opening of the trend to the peak value. If it hasn't been able to reach, 30, 40 points, right? Then we don't really have a quality setup we need to make money within room. If we don't have enough room to operate on that basis. So if something is not working, that's the first thing you want to look at is the market just not moving up or down enough to make it worthwhile. Basically, we need 25 basis points, a quarter of 1% movement per trend slice in order to be able to be confidently make money within the situation. Does that make sense to everybody? Where are we? So what do we have? 26. I'm kind of tempted. This is on my own account. You guys can follow me or not. I just went long on this thing just to see if I can play the possible opening bid here to the upside. So let's, it's always been, the right trade in NASDAQ for a while. So let's just see if this works. Works, it works. It doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm not going to cry about it, but just let's give that a shot. And what I'm basically watching here is, we have the sell signal, right? That sell signal just got broken. So in other words, they took out the highs of that sell signal. It's got reversed. It's telling me that they want to try and maybe short, squeeze the shorts a little bit. It's kind of like a micro version of the Wall Street bets that happens every day. And I'm trying to see if they want to reverse the flows on the open. But it's very problematic trade today because the market today seems super. Oh, there we go. Maybe it's actually going to work for me. Let's see. What was my TP on this? 53? Oh, it's close. 50. All right, we'll give it up here. Good enough. So that did work. And and I see that pattern all the time where it just kind of where you're turning around and this is the opening market opening market jubilee basically. And I'll take that trade for super quick move on the move. I've totally ignored currencies right now because it's just the market opens. So, and I think I'm going to ignore them for a couple more minutes just to see how the market opens up, and then we'll take a look and we'll see. We'll see where the currencies go. Dow's doing nothing. Yeah, these are
German buy continuation trend is weak buy.
German buy continuation. Where's German buy? Did the German actually? I'm not counting the German, but yeah, it looks like the German got done. I'm shocked that the German got done. Okay, so we managed to survive the downdraft in the German, but that was still not something I really love doing. The German, they clearly are pointing it slightly up right now. But what do we got here? It's 30 seconds before the open. Let's see. Let's just see how the market wants to trade the open. And then, the other really big thing we want to look at. Oh, I was going to say we're going to break the highs. It looks like we are going to break the highs. So now we're going to hold the highs. What I want to do is I want to see this is all pre-market highs. We had the big burst on the open, and the big question is, are we going to hold these highs on a closing basis? So that means I got to close it at 60 on the futures, or if we're going to look at the CFDs. I'm just going to move the German here. the CFD values is going to be somewhere around 70. So the CFD is about 10 points higher. And so far, no, they're doing the usual. Let's pump it, dump it. But definitely, we're definitely not going to hold the highs. So there's just no trade. Now, in the next couple of candles, we're going to trade through those highs and hold them. Yes, then the buyers have a lot more control. But right now, it seems to be really jockeying back and forth for very little action. Good job, Daniel. You got 10 on Q, right? It looks like everybody. You guys traded the NASAs, right? Good for you. That was the nice little burst. So again, I really want to see this thing close through the 70s on a closing basis. If we're going to trade we're popping. Now it becomes a real big chase trade. Now it's just a big chase trade. Let's see. All right, I'm buying. I bought this. I'm going to just look.
Nasdaq buy continuation trend is weak buy.
See if I can get 5 out of this thing more. 5 more to the burst. To the burst of the upside. Ooh, wow, Jesus. What's with this? What's with the? Oh man, the spreads are just horrendous. Ooh, look at this volatility. Wow, that was a big chase trade, and I knew it was going to be dangerous, but I'm just trying to see if I can get an extension to it. Come on. Look at this. What is? Oh, it's the entry. I'm on the entry. I thought this was a TP. Oh, it's my entry move. Wow. Okay. All right. You know what? It's a CFD, so we'll just close at 3. It goes a little bit higher. So opening range market trade working again. I didn't do it on my futures because I was too focused on the CFDs for you guys, but that that worked also. So like 15 points so far on this move. And now, so we sort of now we're kind of establishing a halfway decent bias, right? We've pulled away from the moving averages. And now I really do want to look and see if I can get a setup going. If I get a red green, ideally I obviously want a reference point red green, but we'll see. That might take a while to develop. So I'll watch this for a while for right now, and let this consolidate. But now at least we are kind of pulling away. It is showing that finally we have a little bit of a bias. This is I think the all-time the overnight session high. By the way, notice how important it is to look at session highs, opening range highs, all those things. Remember, investors trade value, traders trade price, right? So price is the only variable we really care about. And price is determined by its most recent history, because everybody's affected by recency bias. So we're gonna watch this, these highs. Do we if we hold to close this here? So this is, by the way, green red. I'm not gonna. I'm not getting the trade, but like this, it's a very, very stretched out trade here. But if this candle turns green, I'm not gonna do this on the CFDs, but I may do it on my own account. And you guys are free to follow. But I need to see this hold 70s, 71s, 72s. Where am I? 16, 15. If it dips below 70, I'm not a buyer, but if it stays above, I am. But it's it's still wicking out over here. 74s, 72s. All right, I'm gonna go in.
Dollar Swiss trend up.
Oops. All right, I'll just take this out. Jesus Christ, that was a big move. Okay, so that was just pure momentum move. I took 15 points, 7.5 points out of this thing. I don't know what I didn't want to do this for the CFDs because that's obviously outside of our range. But why do the trade? Big up move, red green, right? So sellers, buyers overwhelm. I'm trading momentum. I came in here, and that that blew me up to the upside a little bit more here. So pretty good. Anybody trade that with me? Yeah, I know. Sure. We actually, so the good news is, guys, Dougie is uh Karen, you with the Dow was 35. Wait, 35 on what? Was there 35 on a Dow and then 10 on the Dow? You trading Dow with me? You basically, you're shadowing me on the Dow. You're doing what I'm doing on the Nasdaq, and then you're just mirroring me on the Dow. Is that what you're doing, Karen? Okay. All right. Sei gesund, as we say in New York City. That means go with God in Yiddish. That's fine. Anyways, I totally lost my train. Oh, Dougie is doing the tool, Cheryl. So we'll have the MT5 tool where basically I can set this, I can set it, and it would have automatically taken me into the trade, right? The reason I'm trading TradingView is because I can't. The execution on MT5 for futures really sucks. We're gonna work on a workaround, but it's gonna have all that, that functionality. So we're breaking out highs. It's really starting to ramp now. We're up, as you can see, we were up like 88 basis points. Now we're up 116 basis points. That's a 20, 30 point basis point move. That's the kind of, this is the environment we like, and that's the environment we don't like, right? And so I was going to say, we generally, so this is sort of like an interesting aside. Most of the days, you don't want to trade our system during you don't want to trade continuity during European session. What we actually want to do is trade reversals, and reversals basically, the system trades reversals when you have one or two, at least, you're hoping one, but possibly two reference points, which fail. So, this is this is one reference point, so you really wouldn't have taken it. But here's, you have two reference points. This one, you don't even have, honestly, there's just no signals here whatsoever to have taken it. But because all the reference points have just kind of fallen. I was going to say, maybe you have, here's the buy, sell, buy. You try to buy. Here is the, there's no buys here. I mean, wow, look at this move. Really blowing up. Now it's hard because now at this point we're super extended, and we don't have any possible trades until it comes back down and consolidates. I've already modified sort of my view by saying, okay, we're not going to wait for the reference point. We're going to just do red green. But even if we wait for a red green here, that's quite extended off.
German sell reversal trend is weak buy
off the moving average. So it's a big stretch to want to try to buy this. What I love to do, by the way, if I don't have a reference point, if I don't have any reference points that I can trade off of here, if this thing comes down towards the moving averages and then gives me a red green, gives me kind of a support. It's what Boris was talking about. I will. That's actually generally a halfway decent trade. So here's, upside breakout, right? We don't have any reference points, but we have red green, which means it's a buy signal. This is at least, for 5-6 points to the upside. It's halfway decent move. Same thing here. Red green buy signal here at 44. At least that goes to 6-7 points in European session. So not great, but at least it's something. It's the right way to think about it. The whole point is the right way to think about it within whatever environment you are in. The opening environment is obviously the best environment. So there's clearly a little bit of corrective price action in front of the 13,400. A lot of times, so I was going to say, a lot of times you get this, and then this is a super hard trade to make because it's such a volatility trade. But if this candle turns green, right, you're almost like, I can't buy it so high. But I'm going to do it for my own account just to show you that a lot of times it's actually the right trade to make. The hardest trade to make is the one where you're still trying, you're buying higher because you think you're so vulnerable to further corrective move. Right now, we don't have that issue because it's clearly a corrective move, so we don't have to. We don't have to. Although, let's watch this. We got 6-7 seconds. This could, if this turns green, the hardest trade to do is to pull the trigger to the buy side.
Euro-yen trend down.
But no, it didn't. So we don't, so we don't have an issue. Now, if this one turns green, yeah, then you want to participate. And basically, this is sort of like the thought pattern here is that if this is going to try and make a run through the round numbers, right? So they're kind of building the base here for a run through the round numbers. I'm actually going to use the market function here. If this holds, it's got to hold. If it doesn't hold, then we really don't have any decent buy movement. And this could still stall here, like it's just All right, I went long here, and I'm going to try and just trade for 10 points here. And I have like 15 points, and I'm done. Okay, it's enough. It was the run through the 400s, and you could see that just building. As I said, it's a really hard trade to make because you're so far extended off the moving averages. But it's generally the right trade to make because it's the final, it's the Momo burst. It's the algo Momo burst to run through those stops at the 400. And now it becomes a much more of a consolidative trade, probably, unless they just they want to gun it again. And if they hold it through the 400s, they're going to try and push it now to the 410s, 420s before you see any additional relief. Anybody pop with me on this or no? Where are you guys? Where are you guys? Shell's like, you're too fast for me, Boris. No, no, I hear you. It's totally cool. And again, when we have the tool will automatically take you into the move, so you could kind of let it run. I know. Guys, I'm day trading. I'm fucking around. I will say this. Let me show this to you. So just kind of change tax, because everybody, a lot of people here are lifetime, so you guys are going to get this. And those of you who are not lifetime, you should definitely get this. Where's my thing? Hang on, I'm just pulling up my OANDA account. Where's my thing? Where's my FX account? Where's this thing? Is this the one? Yeah. Look at, so it's incredibly tedious, right? Incredibly tedious. This is in my, yeah, that's no surprise, Krasi. I said to my wife that it's going to be 100 point down day. I mean, that's it. The short squeeze is done, baby. But look at, this is, the day I'm trading, actually, I think I'm trading what was I trading? The 4-hour signal? I think this is the 4-hour signals from yesterday. And I think, yeah, it was the 4-hour signal on the euro dollar and the pound dollar. I was trading the 4-hour signal of the euro dollar. And actually, as a matter of fact, you know what? I gotta do, I gotta, fuck, I hate, hang on a second. Let me figure this out. I gotta figure this out. Oh God, new order. No, I don't want to do it in the euro dollar. I want to do it in the pound dollar. I got to take half my pound off. Like this. I'm just testing. It's amazing how even on a tiny amount you could actually make some decent money. I want limit, buy limit, and what's the price on pound? 136.83. Let's see if I can do this. God damn it. 82. Where am I? So why is it not letting me do this? Oh, I fucking hate this thing. Oh. God, I hate FIFO.
Nasdaq buy continuation trend is weak buy.
You know what? I'm just gonna close this out. I hate FIFO. Sorry, I have to figure out American rules for how to get out of partial trades. Is just really annoying. So I just took out my whole thing. But what I was gonna say is this is a trade that I've been playing since the beginning. The market open on Monday night, and you can see just slowly but surely, it really works. And this is obviously the same principles, but just on a much longer time scales with much wider, bigger stops. For a whole bunch of you, this is so much easier, so much better to manage. You know, I'm only basically running like 6 symbols. I could literally be having 36 symbols here if I wanted to, which would mean that I would have probably 1 or 2 trade ideas per day. And so these trade ideas sometimes will last between 1 and 5 days. And you're looking for a 1% gain on each one of these ideas. So it's you're obviously trading with. I'm trading this with like no leverage whatsoever, but it becomes very fruitful because the size of the gains are not 10 basis points, but literally 150 basis points. And you don't have to worry about super speed execution. So anyway, just wanted to show you this is coming up. And by the way, all of this is going to be like automated. So you're going to be able to click on this. It has the chart, and it'll say if you want to trade, it will automatically launch the EA, and the EA will automatically launch the trade for you. So it'll be really cool. So I just wanted to show you this. So we are popping still through the 400s, right? A little bit. Ooh, we actually have the first setup in trend here. Again, very hard to kind of swallow your point, but I just went long again because this is a legitimate buy for us. And let's just put this up. I'm going to tighten up my target here to just 10. To 5 points to the upside. And I gotta put a stop on this thing. Oops, and I'm done. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so that was good. Wow, holy shit. This is just, and this is what I'm just trying to tell you guys is like, this is how fast it moves when you get, the whole point is you got to time the entry right, time the entry right. Did anybody take the NAS with this one? I think I think I just picked up like 20 to 30 points in NASDAQ since I started doing this, right? I mean, I was at like 60 and I flipped it now to 24. So that's close to $80 in half an hour, I believe. I forgot where I was on my mark here, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. So you guys digging it? So was it plus 15? Karen, you hit the 15 on what, on the Dow? Let's look at a Dow because I gotta see what you're doing. Let's take a look at the NAS. Did you hit the 10? You 10 on the NAS? Connie, did you trade this? Daniel, where's what's my friend? Oh God, what is his name? I forgot. Oh guys, I'm sorry. I'm having a morning where I'm just completely out of my mind. Kelvin, did you also trade this? I mean, no. Who always trades this with us? Where is he from yesterday? Oh my God. Hey Miguel, did you trade it also? I haven't heard from you in ages. Where is this guy? He's not in the room, I think. Oh, Paul, yes, Paul, Jesus. Jonathan, how come you're not trading? You're like, you were like a trade maven here, or you just, you're skiing. Well, I'm sorry. Us plebs are stuck at the screen. Where are you skiing? Is it in Aspen or is it in Tahoe? Oh, nice. By the way, oh, do you guys want to see? Okay, I'm gonna post this up into the room right now. Okay, you guys, you will not believe this. I swear to God, you will not believe this. Okay, let me post this up into the room. This is my life right now. Hang on a second. Let me put this into the right channel. Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Where am I? Ugh, where's Boris? No, I don't want to go Boris Trade Signals. Here we go. Chat Ask Boris. Okay, check this out. Let's see if you guys, if this comes up. Okay, no, it's gotten deeper since this was last night. 2.5 feet in front of my house. This is just the pathway from my house just down to the road that I dug out. That was the snow. That's the snow we have. I know, for real. The dogs, I couldn't even get the dogs to to walk outside. So yeah, so that was that's what's going on in our life. That's insane, right? All right, we're getting a little bit of a corrective move here for big corrective move actually from the 20s to the 30s. So let's give this a little breathing space because it's it's had a big run. But you can see that the first half hour when we have lots and lots of momentum participation from retail, institutional, algos, everybody else, and everybody drives the moves ups and down. You kind of have to you can be super selective and say, okay, I'm just going to wait for the only signal, this was the only signal that worked perfectly well. Or you can improvise by staying true to our methodology, which is in trend, sell buy. If you get a sell buy switch, which is our buy trigger, you can trade those. And I basically got very aggressive today, and I took 1, 2, 3 sell buy switches for the day. So that put us, like plus 30 on the day, as far as I was going to say. For those of you who are not interested in such super fast trading, you can definitely change to currencies. This is a 5-minute chart, right? It's a 5-minute chart, and here you don't have to, get too crazy on the moves. So the thing with this is a 5-minute chart. The thing with the currencies, again, as I said to you, is during the tight hours. Like, I guess the takeaway here is trend only matters, or trend direction only matters in high liquidity times. So this is obviously opening of
German buy continuation, trend is weak buy.
Opening of the European theater, trend, really established itself. You want to respect trend. When the trend starts to turn, you definitely want to respect the idea that maybe, maybe this is selling out as a, maybe the trend is done. But when you have kind of, trend direction here, and then it changes around and it goes back down, it's better to simply stay with your stops and let your stops, because this kind of undulation of trend, just like in NASDAQ, is more of a whipsaw. It's more, I guess, more of a detriment than it is a benefit to pay attention to it. So like here you are, this is a downtrend. You establish your position. You say, okay, first of all, Euro's already been in a huge downtrend, so clearly you want to trade with a major trend, right? You have the buy, you have the sell, you get short over here, and you just stay at a 20-point stop, right, and a 10-point target, ignoring the flip. The flip here takes you, it's only a 10-point flip. It flips the moving averages, and then it comes back down. And if you just simply stay to to the original suggestion, just get a good entry. You got a good entry over here, right? You do have a little bit of fullback, but that's still well within your stop. So if I'm short at 74, my stop is 95. This thing goes to 86 is my high, and then it drops like a stone. You actually have more than you could trade it probably with 2020. The beauty part of it is that this is a 3-4 hour trade. It's incredibly leisurely. It's not going to give you, like, I'm making 20 points in 20 seconds versus here making 20 points in 200 minutes, right? That's the difference. The flip side, the good side is it's super fast. The bad side of it is super fast. So I just wanted to tell you, you can apply exact same ideas, exact same methodologies in a much more civilized, much less frenetic manner than what we're doing right now. And this, by the way, it looks like it's coming back a little bit, right? Oh, this I'm on a 5-minute chart. Let me see the 1-minute chart. Yeah, the one. See, so the one. I got distracted on talking about it. But remember, I was telling you that very often, if I get I had a corrective mode here off of a very, very strong move, right? It comes down to the moving average, and if it holds the moving average, so in other words, it gets green off. We get a green red off the moving average. Really, really good entry. You came in at 84. It certainly had more than enough to make 10. But this is all super fast. And the thing about these kind of 1-minute things that's really, really important, and I constantly battle about this, but I'm getting so much better at it, is if you're talking to somebody, if your wife comes in or your partner comes in and you're distracted and you were looking for this setup, and then you look back and you're like, over here, do not take this trade. You're late. You're late by definition. You're wrong. Okay, you're wrong by definition. It doesn't matter even if this thing went up 100 points from here. You would have been wrong because the risk reward here completely different than the risk reward here. See what I'm saying? So just there's plenty. There's a trade every 20 minutes coming up. So not worth chasing it, right? Okay, guys, pretty good session actually today. Sorry, I just stuck to NASDAQ, but I really wanted to, to refine it. Yes, so Jonathan is asking, do I think the buy-sell switch works just as well on 5-minute currencies? Well, so, no, okay, actually, no, if you're just saying, do I want to do a
Euro-yen trend up.
Do I want to do a buy-sell switch on currencies, without using reference points? The answer is probably no. I think the buy-sell switch without reference points, is a dangerous proposition a lot of times, and only works on the 1-minute chart simply because you're going to take lots and lots of trades. So within those trades, you're going to have you're going to have lots of errors because you're going to take lots of volume. This is what I do basically. I take a lot of trades. I have a lot of volume, and net, I get an edge because as long as I'm not stupid, as long as I'm not chasing, the net structure kind of works. But as you move over to higher time frames, it's really material to pay attention to the reference points, because those are really much better anchors. Like, you want to move away from being a trading monkey to a much more positional market. So the answer to you is, of course I want to use the buy sell switch, but only in conjunction with the reference point. Does that make sense to you, Jonathan? So like when I was talking on the euro, I had a clear, definitive reference point right over here that I was using. So this becomes a buy sell switch off of a reference point, good entry, quality, right? If I'm just randomly doing a buy sell switch over here, that's getting me in, randomly off of a very, it still works just because we have a little bit more of a downtrend, but it's far less far less effective. Even over here, I mean, you certainly can, you can certainly play with it. The problem is if you start doing the buy sell switches too much, you're going to get whipsawed by the moving averages as well, right? So my view is like, okay, yeah, you could say, well, here's a buy sell switch. You would have had a great entry here at 67. Yes. But if you had the reference point, you had, even though this was a much deeper sell, you had a lot of confidence that this is going to work, and it actually does work, even though it's seems like grossly oversold. As I said, this is kind of a hard trade to make. It's a hard trade to make when you've already had a big movement, but it's very confirmative that there's going to be more to come, and you have virtually no retrace here. So I'm looking like over here, same kind of a thing. Here's a sell switch. This actually, where is this? No, actually, so the trend, this is at 2 o'clock in the morning, Asia time, right? Very, very tight trends, basically nothing. Pre-European Open, we get a small inkling.
Nasdaq buy continuation trend is weak buy.
Of a down move. So you have a 5-minute candle here. You could short here, you could short here, wherever you are. You're not really, rushing at 24. And then it just completely comes, takes you down. Now, if you're over here and you're late, right? Where's your trade? Your next trade is literally over here. Again, hard to make this trade because you've had such a big sell-off. But if you have a 20-point stop, it's a 93, and my stop is, it basically goes 10 points against me, right? It goes just 10 points against me to then come back down. So yes, are you going to run into a V-shaped recovery from time to time? Of course you will. But generally, it's better to trust the signal than not trust the signal, even if it's late, because of the way it sets up, so beautifully on the structure. So that's my point. Then obviously, once you're 1, 2, 3, but third signal in a row, it's already aging. The trend is aging, right? Trends age just like human beings do, and you really want to join the young ones, not the old ones, right? Sorry to be ageist, but we're all too old. But you get my idea. Like, you want to, when you're writing life insurance, you want to write life insurance on the young people, not on the old people. When you're starting trend, you want to trade trend at the beginning of the trend movement, not as it matures. Because yes, occasionally, sometimes a trend can be just massively strong, but you're not trading occasionally. You're trading 80 out of 100 times, and 80 out of 100 times, this is not nearly as good a sell proposition as this is, right? So that's my whole point in all of this. Hopefully that answers your question. I totally went off target. We've always been 2010. I'm always 2010 on all these, shorter term time frames. It's just that, in super low volatility environments, I'll tighten it up to 5-10. But really, the rule should always be like, honestly, if I stay to my 2010 rule, I will do much better in the end than screwing around with it. So I'm just trying to give you the ideal numbers. And then Juan Ben also had some really, really interesting insights, which I'm gonna work with my programmer on, of how she modifies this, the whole currency structure, and it's done really. How's your trading been today?
German sell reversal trend is weak buy.
Oh my God, Dave Portnoy lost $700,000 on. Oh my God, $700,000. 6 wins, 1 loss. That's where I want to be. That's an amazing. That's where you want to be. That's the perfect ratio. And so you're using 15.5. That's interesting. So and this is on a 5-minute chart. I mean, that's still a very winning combination. It's a great ratio, and probably because of spreads and everything else, that's probably the right structure for you. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, so it's the 1-minute charts. Ah, good for you. That's great. That's great. Let's check in with you every day, okay, this week, and keep a record and see how well it's hitting. Because she's made some adjustments on the structure here, to kind of to add an additional filter that I think is really helping out on the euro dollar and the pound dollar. But as you saw on my euro dollar pound dollar, I haven't done anything. I did one trade, and that one trade, was more than 200 pips for me in terms of movement. So it's like we have to. I don't want to get into it right now because we got to go. But it's something that I'm should pass on to me that I'm going to try and see if we can create with the programmer for like the more day trading version of this algo. And it seems to really work well on FX, which is much more slower moving. Anyways, we're gonna come back tomorrow. We're gonna do the same thing, same station. Hope you guys are getting everything in sync. I may, I'll see if Dougie. We'll see where Dougie is at, but I may have the tool that is the MT5, MT4 tool tomorrow, which is going to make it really, really easy for everybody to trade entry. So you won't have to point and click with me super fast. Other than that, any final questions? Anything else on your mind? No? All right. Well, I'm glad everybody had a good session. Another good trading session. You saw the opening trade. I haven't even looked at. Oh, it looks like the NAS is corrected a little bit. So we have a little bit of a correction here, which is fine. So now we're negative trend. So now we're negative trend. Is that kind of interesting? Just was this the initial burst, or do we have a little bit more behind it? We'll see. I kind of typically my view. I'm always very jaundiced. If they run it in Europe, if they have it so high up in Europe, they really like to run it down to like maybe 50 basis points. So 75 basis points down from here, like down to plus 36 before they find some. I wouldn't be surprised if they took this down to 13,300 in the next hour or two, testing it out. But we will have the tools to participate if they do, right? So that's the whole thing. We have the tools to trade. Thank you. Thanks very much, Karen. Thanks, everybody. Everybody have a great day. I'll see everybody tomorrow. Take care.
German sell reversal trend is weak buy.